Hi Flosstube, my name is Marty, or Triple M Stitching here on the internet, and I wanted to come just do a Flosstube update. I think it has been since the 21st of March since I filmed, which is a little longer than I wanted to. I thought I would be able to film over Easter weekend, and I did not. So yeah, let's get started. Just a little life update, I guess. In my last video, I mentioned briefly that I'd gotten a new job. And I started that job. It's been going really great. And I work in a library, which is super exciting, and with some local history stuff, which I really love also. So if you're in the library world and want to chat about that, you can message me on Instagram. Some people have, and that's been really fun to talk to those people about as well. Or if you just want to chat. But yeah, so let's go ahead and start with what I've worked on since I last filmed. When I filmed, I had just finished His Name is Jesus, which was a big piece that I've been working on for a while. And so I kind of wasn't sure what to start working on next. And so I pulled out a WIP, a work in progress, from back before I took a long break from stitching. I probably started this in 2021. This is Sunflower Street by Stitching with the Housewives. Let's see if my iPad will help me pull up the pattern here. And this one is when I am stitching on black even weave, and that is kind of tough during like the evening. Like I need to be sitting in like direct daylight to be able to see the holes of the even weave. Usually Aida on dark colors I don't really have a problem with, but the even weave is kind of doing me in. So here's the cover photo for Sunflower Street. And I feel like I get like very incremental progress on this one, but I do like the pattern a lot. So here's where I am now. All the sunflowers, the yellow parts are finished. I've been working on filling in the whites and in the leaves, and then I worked a little bit more on starting to work on the houses. And that is stitched using the called for flosses. I used the two classic colorworks that I had are bamboo and steamed broccoli, and then I'm just using the DMC alternatives that are listed on the chart for the other two. And this project hangs out in this really cute Bags by Wendy bag. Here's her tag. I think she's on Instagram, and it's the Toy Story aliens, who I love. And so then I wanted to start, I worked on that for 2 days, 2 mornings kind of. I guess it was kind of like two daylight periods. And then the evenings I wanted to work on something that I could see. And I was going to stay with my mom for a little bit because my husband went out of town. And so there was a lyric from a Christian worship song that I talked a little bit about in my last video when I talked about like how I designed the pattern. And yeah, I think I talked about wanting to start it in that video. And so I decided to go ahead and stitch that up. I did it in 4 shades of purple if you are interested in knowing exactly what they are, send me an Instagram message because I don't have them with me, but I can get what they are. So here's the finish. It's using DMC floss, and then the Aida is, I think, 14 count Carolina sand, and I really love it. It's like the oatmeal, like the speckled oatmeal Aida, but it's gray. I think I got it on Stash On though, but I've seen it at Walmart, and so I definitely want to get some more of this because I really liked working with it. And I used Stitch Point, which is like an online website, to chart up the pattern, and so that was really easy and fun, so I highly recommend that. And so I ended up working on that with my mom, and then I went to visit a friend out of town, and I worked at that at her house, and she stitches also. Hi, Erin, if you watch this. And so yeah, it was fun to stitch with her and talk to her. And then after that, I didn't stitch after I finished that, I didn't stitch the next day. My husband and I bobbinated some floss, and I didn't end up stitching. And then the next day I started a new project, which is now finished. This is Droids Welcome by Fiddlesticks AU. And here it is. It's so cute. Okay, so it's stitched basically all as called for, even the called for fabric, thread, everything. It's a little bit washed out there, but yeah, that's pretty true. BB-8 is my favorite. I love all things BB-8, and so this little O here was super fun to do. Well, I think actually it's not exactly as called for. On these lines here, there was called to be some back stitching along them, but I couldn't tell if it was actually done in the cover photo, and I just really wanted to be done with it, I think, one night, late at night, and so I didn't do the back stitching, and I have no regrets. But yeah, I really like this one, and it was a really fast stitch, so that was super enjoyable. And then I'm referencing my stitching planner. And so I finished Droids Welcome on March 30th. And then we had some friends come in town, and I didn't stitch over that weekend. And that was Palm Sunday. And then we moved into April. And one of my goals for April that I have written down here is one old finish. So one of my whips that I started prior to this year, basically in 2021, I wanted to finish up. And so for that, I pulled out the Cozy Cafe Stitch Along by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And let me see if I can get the cover photo for that pulled up. And I worked on this one for a while. There's the cover photo. I was super close to being done on this one. I kept up with it pretty good when I was stitching and when it was being released actively. I haven't finished it now, and I'll chat about that here in a second. But here is my piece so far. So what I first picked up was this chai. It was actually my first day at work on my lunch break from our big training day. I had brought this, and all I had to do was fill in the brown tea in the cup, and that's what I did. And then I came home and finished the letters and the bubbles and stuff. And then I came down here as I finished the chai up, and I worked on Peppermint Cocoa, which I think might be my favorite cup. The mug was really fun to stitch. The little foam art bear is really cute. And yeah, I really love him. And then I came down, and I had a little bit more of the bottom border to do. And I realized I couldn't find the red color and the gray color, and I have no idea where they were. I looked everywhere. I looked in my boxes. I looked in all my whip bags. I looked in, all the threads are in this little Frosted Pumpkin bag. And then the project lives in this Barbara John's Stitching with Grammy bag that's coffee themed. But I couldn't find those two threads anywhere. I think it was DMC 22 and 844. Yeah, I couldn't find them anywhere. And so I had to stop because that's all I had left was the border and then the established 2021 that goes right where my needle minder is. And that happened over, it was on this Easter Saturday. I didn't feel like going out to the store then, and then it was Easter Sunday. And so I wasn't really shopping. So I put it down, even though, I was planning to work on this till it was done. I was ready to see this through and check it off, and this was going to be my old finish, and I was going to put it in my kitchen, and et cetera, et cetera. But yesterday I did go buy the 2 DMC that I need, and so once I get to more of a stopping point on the project that I'm going to show you next, I will pick this back up and hopefully finish it this weekend. I need to put the beads on, which shouldn't be too bad. I have beaded before, not in a little bit though, so once I get back in the routine with that should be okay. And yeah, the Frosted Pumpkin actually sent out, to their email list information, a sneak peek today of their 2020, what year is it? 2023 Stitch Along, which I've been waiting for. And I've been doing some sneak peeks, some hints, and I think I have a guess. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm probably going to do it. And so I want this one done before that one comes out. They're waiting on some threads still, so I think I have a little bit of time. But this is my weekend goal for sure, is to call this one done. So let me pull back at my notebook. So yeah, after I finished I was forced to stop Cozy Cafe, I pulled out a project that I really wanted to start. And this is, oh, pause. Before I tell you about that, there was one more thing I was going to show you. Maybe I'm not now because my phone isn't here. I had FFO'd or fully finished another hoop, and it was the Wash Your Hands freebie that Satsuma Street had done a while, like way back, like for COVID. But I'll put that on my Instagram story, and maybe I'll show it next time. It's like very attached to the wall now, so I didn't want to pull it off. But yeah, so this, sorry, that was very discombobulated. The next project that I started was one that I had purchased because of Jay's Stitching, Jay on Instagram. And then I showed the kit in my last Flosstube in Stashed Acquisitions, which I have some today. And I just kind of had it sitting in my like basket that I keep by my couch. I hadn't like wanted to put it in my stash because like I wanted to start it, like I wanted it to stay in my radar. And so this is Be a Light by Dimensions. I kind of went on a whole Dimensions chat in my last video because I have some Dimensions Gold that I want to start, but I kind of want to start with like the original Dimensions first and get used to it. And so I started this one on, that Saturday after church, and I have been working on it ever since, and there's even a stitch in progress. This is on the called for Ada from the kit, and using the called for floss and everything, and the colors are stitching up so pretty. I finished the candle in here. I already had this needle minder. I got it on Stash Unload like a long time ago. It's a lantern that says Be the Light, and this says Be a Light to the World. And so it was very fitting that I already had that in my stitching stash. Sorry if you just heard that jostling noise. But yeah, this has been so fun to stitch. My husband and I started watching Superstore. If you are familiar with that show, it's been super good so far. And yeah, I've been stitching a lot on this, watching a lot of Superstore. And my goal is to get this middle jar fully finished and then go back to Cozy Cafe. And I think that should be good. Those are like my 2 goals for the weekend. Like by the end of the weekend, that's what I want to have happened. But we shall see. Let's chat a little bit about my plans for this month, and then I'll show stash acquisitions. So I keep them here. You can see the first one is fully finished Crab and Heron. Those were 2 Art of Design pieces that I showed in my last video. That has been a little waylaid because I'm planning on sewing them into pillow finishes, and I pulled my sewing machine out that I haven't touched in over 2 years, probably 3 years, and it will not sew. And I know very minimal about sewing. So back in like early 2020, before the pandemic, before I was married and we moved to Maryland, the library system I was working at had a maker space where you could learn a sewing machine. They had sewing machines there for you to use. And so I took the intro class. I learned how to use their sewing machine, and it was great. And then I was thinking about buying one, used or something. And then my husband was working at our alma mater, and the theater department was getting rid of some of their sewing machines, and I was allowed to take one, and that was fantastic. And so that's the one that I have, and the one that has passed on. I don't really know what's happening with it. And so yesterday I got all like hyped up. I wanted to finish those into pillows, so I got just some like scrap fabric that I had and cut it into the size of pillow I'd be making, just to do a practice like pincushion before I did the cross stitch, like sewed my actual stitching. Got it on, got it threaded, had to watch some YouTube videos, and it will not feed through, like the feed dogs will not raise themselves up. I've tried turning the lever, I've tried threading and unthreading. I don't know what happened. If you have a lot of sewing knowledge, let me know what maybe I could try. This machine has been through it. Like I said, it's a Singer Protege, and it was the sewing machine for a theater department for a college. So college students have been using this machine for years, and who knows what it was kind of put through in that time. So I'm kind of torn. Like, do I try and pay and get it fixed? Do I get a new one? I don't know. But So yeah, the FFO of crab and heron might not be super possible until I can get that fixed. There's a couple in my area on Facebook Marketplace, like a couple sewing machines that seem to be good options. That the people selling them said that they basically opened the box, got intimidated, and like never used them. And so I messaged a few people. I'm gonna maybe try and find like a sewing machine shop in my area that could help. But yeah, that's what's going on with that. My other goal is one old finish, like I said. So that is gonna be Cozy Cafe. Filming 2 Flosstubes is a goal, so we're halfway there with this one. And then 3 days on my Santa stocking. That's a pattern by Durian Jones. And I think in my first video back, like not the last video, but the one before, I showed my most recent update on that. And it's something that I want to keep working on and not just never slotted in intentionally. And so I put 3 days on Santa stocking. That seemed reasonable. And if I am enjoying it, then I'll just keep going. And then finish Droid's Welcome was a goal, and I finished that one, and it is checked off. And then here's my page where I write down everything that I've worked on. So those are my plans. And next week is kind of, if I get my 2 goals for by this weekend done, then hopefully maybe next weekend is when I'll pull out Santa's stocking. So yeah, that's the tentative plan. And then we can just kind of scoot on into stash acquisitions. The first one is more embroidery. Is embroidery. It's not cross stitch. Let me tear the tag off. Hold on. Sorry. The library system that I work at was doing like take home embroidery kits, and so they had some available for staff too. But it was for patrons who wanted to learn embroidery. Sorry, I'm saying so much, but if you had a library card, you could just register and come pick one up. So it's a full kit to create your own embroidered Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, and big Star Wars fans in my house. And so was definitely excited to pick this up. It comes with instructions, a hoop, the fabric, the floss, the needle, and then the design that you can trace onto your fabric that says Punch It Chewy, which is super cute. So I've never really done true embroidery like this, but this one basically just seems to be just one stitch. There's no there's not a lot of techniques involved. And so hopefully I'll give that a try soon, maybe in May for May the 4th for Star Wars Day. That might be fun. The Library System Market also is doing a Tatooine sunset guided painting class that I'm signed up for, so that will be really fun as well. And then this is the only pattern I bought in that whole year where I wasn't stitching. I don't have a lot of lavender and lace or mirabilia or Nora Corbett Fancy Lady patterns, but this one was always really pretty to me. I'm trying to find the name. Oh, Sweet Dreams. That would be pretty. I don't have any children, but if we are blessed with children someday, then this would be a really pretty one to do. It's pretty ginormous. So yeah, I might be too intimidated to ever start it, but it was really pretty, and yeah, it was a good deal on eBay as well. And then last but not least, I have 2 pieces of fabric that I picked up from Stash Unloading. This is an 8x13 piece of Barnwood Aida by Picture This Plus in 14 count. I think I repeated myself there, but oh well. There we go. That's really true to life, and I do love Picture This Plus fabric. And I have worked with their Aida before, and it's really soft, which I like. Sometimes in the other piece that I had of their Aida, it was so soft that the threads of each square were kind of bleeding into where the hole is. So I would put my needle through a thread that shouldn't be where the hole is, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but I do like their Aida. And then this is a piece of Nordic Blue 28 count Jobelin Even Weave. That's really true to color right there. yeah, those are just 2 pieces on Stash Unload that I like the color of, and I knew I liked the fabric of, so thought I'd add those to my stash. And that is just about it. I hope everyone has been having a good week, or like couple weeks, and that your stitching is going well. Hopefully I can film a little bit sooner and have a little bit smaller gap in between videos than the last 2. I think like exactly 2 weeks is kind of my sweet spot. I think I'm a little bit out from that, but that's okay. Yeah, that is the end of my video. Thank you so much for choosing to be here today, and I hope you all have a great time stitching. Thank you. Bye.